Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. Behind me, as usual, we got the beautiful wagon wheel, and I am Kevin, your host, and hopefully still got some wisdom up here. Yesterday, I did a video on twin flames, and today I would like to talk a little bit deeper about that to some degree and dive into, again, my experience with it so far, some of the research I've done, and just kind of go from there. But the one main thing I want to talk about here is how I'm identifying through this. Now, within the twin flame journey, we're talking about two souls that have come into incarnation, come into this lifetime, and that have split. One soul being the divine masculine, one soul being the divine feminine. Now, when I first heard about it, I would automatically assume I was the divine masculine being a male, and that has nothing to do with it. And the real thing is I'm actually identifying as the divine feminine on this one. The runner is the divine masculine, and that would have been my ex-girlfriend. She is in fact running as fast as Usain Bolt right now. I am the divine feminine. I was the one much more in touch with spirituality in the relationship, where the divine masculine, her, was very much in touch with her ego. And that is what I would like to talk about a little bit, is me, a male, being the divine feminine in this relationship. So when this first started out, we had an amazing, electrifying relationship. It touched me in ways that I've never felt before. I remember one instance where her and I were laying together. She was laying on top of me, and probably for at least 45 minutes, just laying there, I was holding her and embracing her, and it honestly felt like we were one. 46 years old, I have never in my life experienced anything remotely close as something being that electrifying, magical, magnetic, everything you could possibly imagine. And it was in that moment that I have felt something I've never felt before for somebody. Fast forward to going on almost 4 months ago now, she ended up breaking up with me and has since blocked me. I've explained reasons why. We had a not so nice exchange, and I was pretty cruel in some of my words, so rightfully so I've earned the block, we'll call it. But it wasn't until recently, and don't ask me how I stumbled upon this, but it came to me, it arrived at me right kind of on my doorstep in an odd way, about twin flames. So I started really kind of studying it. Now, the reason I studied it is the key. This breakup has caused a whirlwind of emotions inside of me that, again, much like when I was embracing her in that moment, I've never felt anything like this. In fact, it's damn near terrifying in some aspects. I've found myself on the floor bawling for no reason. I haven't been able to set the bags down from this, so to speak, and I've been through breakups before. I've been through a divorce. I've been through other relationships, but this one in particular has hit me on a level that I don't know what's happening. I have unbelievable pain around my heart area, odd stomach aches, and just as of recently, these just pulsating headaches that just hit me out of absolutely nowhere, and then they dissipate and go away. So when I started reading about twin flames and learning about it, and I've watched some YouTube videos about it, symptomatically, all of these things have lined up. Energetically, all of these things have lined up as well. And I'm not somebody who necessarily believes in coincidences. I may at one time in my life, but I don't really anymore. I don't think things happen by accident. I don't think you cross people's paths by accident. I don't think people use the word coincidence. I'm not so sure they exist anymore. And that's, again, something else I'd like to hit on in this video. But more importantly, I would like to talk about, if you are a guy and you are feeling these things that I'm feeling, and if you learn about twin flames and start to learn about the divine feminine and how it has nothing to do with gender, what I'm saying will echo within you. And I just want you to know that this is kind of a safe space to listen to this, where you can shut out the world, listen to it on your own, see what you think, make some comments down below and tell me if you're going through the same experience or not. And in my best way of saying this, learn from this. Let's talk about the breakup. I'd hate to sit here and look at you guys and tell you that it was a gift from your ex-girlfriend who has left you broken, beaten down, feeling like somebody you're not, feeling like you're out of place, depressed, sad, angry. I realize that that is a hard thing to accept and swallow. But hear me out on this. If this twin flame theory is true, and again, I don't know if it's true yet. I'm in the beginning of this, the very beginnings of this, if I listen to some of these things and these were right, where all of these emotions that I went through previously, that I just talked about, the anger, the depression, the hurt, and I still get angry a little bit about it, but I've begun to accept it far more than what it is, because if indeed this is a soul split, this is you, this is her. She is going to be going through this same thing that you are. However, if you are the spiritual one and you believe in certain things like I do, maybe angel numbers, maybe your guide's coming to help you, that certain synchronicities are popping up out of nowhere. Guess what? The masculine typically doesn't have a clue about this because they are operating up an ego. And if you're going to get anything out of this video, I want you to smile right now. Wouldn't it be great to see the ego of your ex-girlfriend shattered just a little bit? Well, guess what, you guys? That gets to happen when you begin to work on yourself and become who you're supposed to be. And that is what this journey is all about. Because let me put it to you this way. If I'm wrong about this, I still get to become a greater version of myself, and my twin flame will show up. Because she too is going through this, if again, the hypothesis or the theory is correct. You are one soul. And other people bring up the word soulmate. No. Misinterpretation. A soulmate is a separate soul in a separate body. Your twin flame is the same identical soul as yours, split in two in your counterpart's body. Another reason why I believe that my ex is now my twin flame is this. When I was younger, her and I had crossed paths, we just really didn't know it. I was up in the same areas that she was, just kind of probably jostling by one another, and we had talked about that and laughed. We had probably crossed paths, and this is kind of goofy, but at the same softball tournaments where her and her ex-husband used to go to. Her ex-husband used to compete in the same ones that I was at. And it's just kind of weird that we were distances apart. We are the exact same age, just 3 months apart. And when we met, incredibly similar interests, like eerily. Shared a lot of the same ideals and things like that, except she came from a huge place of a massive ego on a small frame. I'm a pretty humble guy. I don't have that. And in the relationship, I always felt like the nurturer. The one who would look in her eyes and say, "You are so beautiful." And she would like kind of like, "Well, you make me feel beautiful." It's like, man, if you could only see what I see when I touch you and when I sense you and when I'm around you, if you could only feel that. But again, I had no idea what the essence of a twin flame was or any of the theories behind it at the time until recently. And again, I don't believe it to be an accident that her and I have met. I don't believe it an accident that right after we break up, I find all of these things about twin flames coming my direction out of nowhere. And then when I study it, it makes so much sense. But I was super resistant to accepting the fact that I could be the divine feminine. It's like, come on, I'm a man. No frickin' way. Impossible. But then you realize and accept the fact that, all right, it's an energy thing. It's a thing that is way beyond the 3D world that we live in. From a conceptual standpoint, it's the cosmos, I guess, to me. I believe that that's where we come from, that we're not just a meat popsicle here and then we die and then it's just, dark the rest of our life, that there's nothing. At the beginning and end, I believe we're on a soul's journey to come here and learn. Now, the other part about this, too, that's really cool is when you do begin this process of accepting this twin flame journey. The one thing that I did, and maybe you guys did this too, is I was watching tarot readings like fucking crazy, like crazy style, and it made me feel worse. Just my first recommendation, please stop doing that. There is no way that those tarot readings are going to have anything to do for you except hinder you, because we're talking about a push-pull energy runner chaser dynamic. And if you need a metaphor or something to visualize in this, imagine, okay, go outside and watch two squirrels chasing each other. They don't want to be, the one in front doesn't want to be caught. It'll spin around the tree and it'll go up and around. That is exactly what this is like. And when you are emitting this energy of chasing, and I am so guilty of it by constantly contacting her, trying to convince her she's making a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Guys, you do that, she is going to run at the speed of Usain Bolt. And I don't know about you, I'm not that fast. I'm not that fast. The thing you have to do, stop, turn around, walk away with all of your dignity and just set the bags down. And here's the other thing I'm incredibly guilty of with this that has been the hardest thing. And it's still hard, but I have to accept it because it's her journey too to learn. And if it's right, you know, she'll come back. And even if it's not right and she doesn't come back, I am still going to be a far better person than I ever was before. A far better person. But last night, and this has been many nights, many days, when the emotion starts spinning up, is me thinking about her being with somebody else. It sucks. But in order for her ego to die off, maybe she needs to get ghosted by somebody. Life's a school, you guys. We have no control over other people, and I think that's our ego death, is the identifying as the divine feminine. So we don't have that kind of control. No matter how nurturing, caring, empathetic we are, when somebody isn't receptive to it, it's just best to let them go and figure it out on their own. And that's when I smile a little bit, because guess what, man? That huge ego, and man, I'll say it again, she had a huge ego. She's a corporate woman, attention seeker, just really believed that these false things were bringing her positive experiences in life. And it just, you know, to me, I could never connect with it. That corporate ladder, the thing about that is the higher you climb, man, the further you fall. I couldn't be in that environment. I couldn't survive it. It's just not me. It's for some people, but again, it isn't for me. And part of this ego death is for her to realize all of that. But again, it all starts with the divine feminine. It starts with you. You're the catalyst here. You get to control this from the beginning to the end. So if you ever need any control, that control all comes with yourself. And that's where it starts, you guys. And I'm looking at you guys out there, and I keep saying guys because there isn't a lot of videos out there about men talking about being the divine feminine. And maybe that's a fear thing, I don't know, or they're resistant to it because they don't want to believe that, well, they hear the word feminine, they automatically think female or feminist, and it's not that. It is not that. It is much more beautiful than that. And I'm really embracing it. Now, full disclosure, I'm 6'3", I'm 202 pounds. I work my butt off in the gym. I got test week coming up this Monday starting out, which is bench press. My goal is to do 275, and I'm going to be back on camera here talking about that. In fact, I think I'm going to have it videotaped. I want to hit it. My squat is a little bit above my bench. I've been suffering from hip inflammation a little bit, but I want to get about 285. That would be amazing for me. My deadlift, I'm super proud of. My best is 395. With the hip inflammation, I've been back going hardcore on that, and I'm hoping to get 405. That's 4 45-pound plates on each side. So it's not like I'm some wimp. So to think that I'm not masculine or anything like that, and again, it's masculine in the 3D world, it's feminine in the 5D world, the cosmos world to me. I can be both, and why not? Why can't I be a empathetic, caring, nurturing man that would protect his female to the death, but then also hold her high as I possibly could and caress her and hold her and love her the way she deserves to be loved. But you can't do any of that until you become the best version of yourself. The one thing on this journey, and I think I've been making videos now for a little over 2 weeks, my fear of being in front of this camera is gone. I don't know how or why. Just gone. I made a video this morning about how I'm falling in love with coaching football, my son's football team. I had a huge fear of getting back and being a leader like that. There's no fear anymore. In fact, it feels exactly right, like I'm in the right place at the exact right time. This journey, you guys, when you start it, you will never be the same person in the best of ways. You get to set down all of those old bags and become somebody maybe you've always dreamed of. Because, and this again is another weird aspect of it that just, to me, it again, too coincidental for it not to be real. You feel so freaking good inside. You feel the love, so to speak. And I don't mean to sound like, hey man, everybody needs to love one another bullshit. No, it's different than that. It comes from such a unique, neat place. And I'm 3.5 months into this, but I'm somebody that pushes myself very hard when I do something. So I'm studying this stuff nonstop. I'm meditating. I'm journaling right here all the time. Somehow, miraculously, a life coach showed up right in front of me one day. Another person that talked about that specializes in relationships, he's a psychotherapist, showed up in my presence one day. It's almost like my angels are helping me out. These synchronicities that have happened recently, again, just way too coincidental for it not to be real or not to be meant to be. You become a softer but tougher, both mentally and physically, man. And that's a dangerous person right there. And it's a great thing. But always keep this in mind, you guys. Even though you split from your ex, energy is always cyclical and it comes back. Do I want her back right now? My ego might want me to say yes. My heart says no, because I know she's not ready. For her, this is going to take a while. This is going to take a while, and somehow I innately know that, and better yet, I accept it for what it is. I would love to give her a big hug, a big kiss, but it's not in the cards yet. There's work to be done. There's work to be done because from an energetic level, I believe I feel it sometimes, because I've said this to some other people that sometimes this energy doesn't feel like my own. It hits me out of nowhere. One of those unexplainable things. And again, if the hypothesis is true, isn't that going to be kind of cool? That all of these things that I'm sitting here talking about have actually come true. That to me seems, I don't know, it seems out of this world to some degree that is a possibility. But in my heart of hearts, I really, really believe it. And if I'm wrong, at the end of the day, still, I become a great person, a greater person, maybe even the greatest version that I was supposed to be here, why I was sent here, to help people, to talk about my life and talk about my experiences, because they echo with people. I had a comment on one of my videos of a guy talking about he's 46 and he's going through exactly this and feeling the exact same feelings. Again, not a coincidence, you guys. Not a coincidence. But don't be scared to embrace your divine femininity. Keep it to yourself. I've talked about it to people very close to me. I've only talked to one person who I trust wholeheartly with information like this, because he is somebody that has taught me how to be a better listener and a better, just a better person. One of those people that I can confide in. But I think it's one of those things that maybe just kind of keep it on the down low for a little while until you begin to feel it out. And once you start to shift, everybody's going to see it anyway. You won't need to tell anybody. You will be a different person. I guarantee it. I don't know how else to put it. You're going to be a different person. Maybe a little softer spoken. No smoking. Quit smoking. A little bit softer spoken. More empathetic. Kinder. Spreading your own love. You know, I got into coaching, helping people, donating your time, making videos about it and about your journey, because again, there's more people out there just like us who are lost and confused, crying on the floor, feeling the heartbreak and the heartache of losing something and not really understanding what the hell is going on. I know you're out there. And this video, I hope, finds you guys. And if females want to echo with this one too, that's great. But like I said, there just doesn't seem to be many males out there talking about this from the divine feminine perspective. And I think once you begin to accept that, you're going to be all right. So pick your heads up. This isn't an easy journey. But if the theory is correct, we asked for it. We signed up for it. And if you know yourself, like I know me, it's like, all right, I would have signed up for this shit. I would have put myself up to this, because that's the kind of fool I am sometimes. It's like, all right. But at the same time, bring it. But sometimes, man, it's hard to get up off the floor. But dust yourself off and win those little moments. The meditating has really helped me. If you don't know how to meditate, Joe Dispenza is a guy that I listen to. That's an idea, but you can just go on and meditate, learn to watch your breath or something along those lines when you do your search, and just feel the breath going into your body. It helps slow down the thoughts, because when this first happened to me, holy crap. It was just damn near nauseating, the thoughts and how many of them and how frequently, and the pain I was feeling and worrying about what she's doing. And Jesus, it consumes you. It consumed me. But it doesn't have to be the end of you. It can be a brand new beginning of the best version of you, while all of the old stuff just falls away. And boy, oh boy, if my body could ever use the proverbial oil change, now's the time. Now's the time. To use a sports metaphor, I'm turning this damn franchise around. Kevin's going to be up on top. I want all of you up there with me, alongside, because, I sometimes pay attention to the news, and if there is ever a time that love needs to be spread and shared and new ideas and things like that, man, this is it. But something tells me that's why we're shifting right now. The world needs us. You need you. And that's the only thing you really need to remember. You need you. The world around you will change. I can't guarantee that all will be well, but it sure as hell could be. So hang in there. Hang in the pocket. I'm going to keep making more videos about this, and some you're probably going to see me angry on some days, and some days you won't, but it's all part of this emotional process. And my heart, even though it's squeezing, it gets worn right on these sleeves right here. I'm a pretty open book about it, and I'm not apologetic for that. I like talking about stuff like this because it's brand new and it's super fascinating. It's an experience I've never had before in my life, and I get to talk to all of you about it, whoever you is out there. So again, this is Kevin with the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. Please like, share, subscribe. If you are finding any value in these videos whatsoever, it'll certainly help out my channel. I'm not the most popular right now. I got 12 subscribers, but I'm going to work my butt off to get 500 and 1,000 and just see where this goes, because I think there's a lot of people out there like us that are going through the same thing, and I want that to be my gift to the YouTube world and the world at large, to let them know that you don't have to be alone. Because guys, I know men, we are hard on ourselves. In breakups, very hard. We're problem solvers, and breakups are huge problems that we cannot solve, it seems like. So if the solution is this, work on you, do your best to get that meditating going, to shut out those thoughts about her. I'm working on that too, trying to not get angry about thinking about her with other people, but it's reality and it sucks, but it is what it is. And I am forgetting one thing. During the process of this, from when I've been listening to females talk about the divine feminine aspect, they talk about how they feel about things and the kundalini rising up from the base up through the crown and what you're going through. And one thing they had mentioned about sex drive, that some of them feel a high sex drive, the divine feminines do. I don't. I haven't dated since we broke up. I can't even fathom almost speaking to another woman right now. I have no sex drive whatsoever. I've been celibate. And again, this isn't for her. This has been for me. I don't want to bring broken Kevin into anyone's world right now. And he's broken a little bit. I'm picking up the pieces, There's scaffolding around this structure, but I'm picking it up. And I don't drink, I don't go out, I don't smoke weed anymore. My love is getting in the gym, going out for walks, getting in nature is such good medicine. No dating. Am I in a maybe hopelessly romantic way waiting around for her? Maybe. I am and I'm not. If the theory is true, it would be beautiful if we came back around. Because when I get to that point, it means I am my best version and becoming better. And all will be forgiven, so none of the past will matter anyway. But I'm dedicated to this journey regardless, because I know, again, and I keep saying it over and over, the best part of you is going to show up. Look in the mirror, tell that son of a bitch you love him. I dare you. Later, guys.